Okay, hello friends. Today we have very special guest and her name is Sumita Datta. She is currently a service delivery manager in Unisys India. She started her career in the year 1999 in IIT Kharagpur and she's having 20 plus years of vast experience in retail banking and insurance. And it will be a great honor to have you on our show. Thanks and welcome, Sumita.
Thank you, Sunan. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. So, Sumita, why don't you tell us about little bit about yourself and how you become finally a service delivery manager?
Okay, so the journey was not so easy. And as you said that I started my career in the year 1999 as a on-the-job trainee, to be very honest. I started like any other, the freshers in IT, the way they joined. I joined as an on-the-job trainee and my first project was in IIT Kharagpur from HCL Infosystems, Kolkata. And after that, yes, the journey started as a developer, as usual for most of us. For few, they start their career as a tester, but for me, it was as a developer. And then I grew from developer to senior developer, team lead, and then I become a system analyst also. I did quite a bit support activity also, but gradually I thought when I had to select my roadmap, I thought of taking the management role and I wanted to become a leader one day for one of the organization. I don't know where I will be, whether I will be or not. However, that's the path I selected, and after completing, the worst journey, today I'm with Unisys as a service delivery manager.
Great, great, Sumita. And yeah, I mean, this interview is going to be very interesting because we have a lot of videos and stuff available on project managers and Scrum Master, but we hardly find anything on delivery managers. And I really feel that if someone like you who already into this role can enlighten us, and maybe the title of this video is like interview the interviewer. So you already have interviewed a lot of project managers. You already have seen a lot of experienced people within your organization, multiple organization you work with. So that's the reason, and I'm going to ask you a couple of interesting questions, which are definitely going to help our viewer if they are want to be in this role of a delivery manager or service delivery manager. So if someone is there in your shoes, right? So how do they imagine a typical day at work for a service delivery manager?
The day starts with meeting, the day ends with meeting, I will say. But yes, it is in between meeting to meeting, there are n number of things, Sunand. You really need to keep an eye on the team and you need to plan for every meeting, because when as a delivery manager I'm attending a meeting, that means it might be a weekly meeting, monthly meeting, bi-weekly meeting, or probably a quarterly meeting. And I feel every meeting needs a preparation, no matter you are a host or you are a participant. And whenever in our level we have a meeting, either the meeting is for a deal, some escalation, some status reporting. So no matter what, you need to be aware of your project from the core, what is happening. And if there is any escalation and if you anticipate that some question may come, you need to be prepared for that. So mostly my day starts with meeting and my day ends with meeting, Sunan.
Any sort of deliverables? I mean, I'm just curious to ask, any sort of deliverables for DMs? I mean, apart from some
Yes,
reporting, anything
definitely.
else?
Definitely, we are responsible for the overall delivery. Now, say for example, in the I have worked with many big companies and I have worked with many startups. So the delivery model varies from company to company. So there are organizations where there is a release in every Sunday, the small release, and there are big releases in every 2 months, every 6 months. There are some companies where there are only 6 monthly release and there are some patch releases. So it depends from organization to organization. But yes, if there is a release, if there is a big release, mega release, then we really need to tell about the release, the status in the weekly status report or a project status report with the stakeholder. So stakeholder management is one of the key element. Probably as a delivery manager, I feel that everybody should know the art of stakeholder management. And yes, we do have to have the proper knowledge of the release which is going. If there are any known issues, probably we need to be ready with the answers. Why so? Are we giving any workaround, any functional impact? All those things you need to be prepared, Sunan. That's true.
Yeah, a lot of matrices and all those stuff. Yeah.
Yes, those are not really for the really specific, Sunand, but yes, there are metrics which keeps a health checkup for your project.
The
The
founding.
way after a certain age we do a monthly health checkup of our BP and cholesterol. Similarly, every project is having a health checkup. There are a lot of metrics, and definitely we have a most of the organization there is a monthly matrix call that happens where we check whether we have reached the USL, upper specification limit of any benchmark that we set for that matrix. If so, then probably a causal analysis report or a RCA, root cause analysis, happens.
Great, great. Okay, now this one is an interesting one, and because there are a lot of taboo which I can see with this name, manager or management. So what do you think about the difference between a leadership and a management? And if you can just throw some example around this.
Okay. So I'll just tell what I know, what I observed, and what I do as a manager, delivery manager. So I think when I look at my leaders in my current organization, they are the team that makes vision, mission, they set the objectives and goal, and we are the real team to execute that. Because I have a team of 60 or 80 people behind me, and I as a manager is responsible to execute and ensure that my organization's goals are aligned with my project goal, or a vice versa. My project goals is aligned with my organizational goal. So if you talk about leadership, yeah, they are there to keep an eye on us overall, the health checkup, but we are there to execute those vision, mission, and goals. Did I answer you, Sunan?
Yeah, the implementation part is with you guys. Yeah. The on the
Yes.
on the ground, you are the people who is.
Yes, and if you go down below, say for example, I'll give you a small example how I do that as a delivery manager, because I'm a people manager as well along with a delivery manager. I have a lot of reportees under me, so we all have to set our objectives and goal in the beginning of the year. So when I do a 101 for my team, I always try to ensure that everybody, whoever is setting their goals and objectives, that is aligned to the organizational goal and objectives. So I feel as junior, the freshers or the junior most member of the team, if he or she is focused about her or his work, which is aligned to the organizational goal and objectives, then there is no problem in the channel. We are done. We are done.
I mean, again, it's one question which I just want to ask you, that normally when we means like when someone having 10 years or 5 years of experience, we are having our one-to-one with our managers, project managers. I was just wondering that what sort of one-to-one you are having with your project managers, when project managers having conversation with their delivery managers. So what sort of conversation they are having? What are their KPIs or KRAs, something like that? If you can just share one or two instances, something like.
See, it's more of a discussion, I think, rather than, because in a senior level it's just like a team. Because when I do 101 with my senior team members, I always discuss. I'm a very. I feel I'm a good team player, because I never think that it's my project. I always think it's our projects. So it should be a common objective to ensure that project is performing well. So when I have a 101 with my manager, definitely he asks me, or probably she asks me about the team, because I am responsible to talk about my team and about myself. So most of the discussions happens in a very healthy manner. yes, we do have differences of opinion, as usually in the senior level it happens. So we do have our differences of opinion, but I always prefer, and I always had a very healthy discussions with my manager, and at the end of the day we agree on a approach which helps me as an individual, because everybody wants a growth, right? Everybody wants a salary hike. So that's one of the important aspect for everybody. So I always try to ensure that yes, we after the healthy discussion we agree on an approach which helps me to grow as an individual, which helps the project to grow, and which helps at the end to organization to grow.
Okay, great, great. Okay, so the next question is about, so let's say someone wants the job of this service delivery manager. So what people should do in their first 30 days when they're starting their job as a service delivery manager in this particular role? What are your,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so usually that doesn't happen in a day. So probably from a team lead person becomes a project manager, and from a project manager, a senior project manager, and then a service delivery manager. So if it is in the same organization, then it's not a challenge. But if somebody wants to switch the organization and join a new organization as a delivery manager, I think the first 30 days is a learning. I personally feel you should sit with the team and understand the team, understand the product or the project. You should know your stakeholders very well. Given an opportunity, you should visit your stakeholder, meet them personally. And also, if there is any vendor that project is need to have, so you should have a meeting with your vendors also. So I feel the bonding is very, very important. So along with bonding, I as an individual also try to understand the product or understand the project, because until and unless I understand, I cannot talk. So first 1 month is discussion, listening, learning is very, very important, Sunil.
Okay, good, good. So basically to understand the culture and all those things, like what's happening,
Yes,
because if you're coming from outside, it will be difficult for someone to adjust because the backgrounds are different. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, good. And in your opinion, like what do you feel about the good qualities or trait to become a competent service delivery manager?
Good communication, good team player, and these are the probably two more most important point I feel, because I when I selected or I wanted to be a delivery manager, or probably I wanted to become a management, I wanted to take this managerial role. I wanted to grow as a team rather than an individual contributor. So I feel that if the project is success, it is not only my success as a delivery manager, it is the team's success. So most important, if you say, again, I'll say it's the communication, how well you communicate with everybody internally and externally, and how good team player you are, because there are situations when production issue will come, and if you go back home 5 o'clock, there are team which definitely I also as a team member will mind if I'm working days after days, probably for a couple of days late night, and my manager is going back. So if I'm a good team player, probably as a delivery manager, probably I might not be able to do coding, or I might not be able to understand what is going on, but to stay just next to the resource who is working, or probably just ask him, take a break, let's take a break, you have already worked for 5 hours, let's take a break, have a cup of tea, definitely helps. So those kind of support is very, very important. So in a nutshell, a good team player.
Okay, good. Yeah, sometimes the presence is equally important just to motivate them. They know that yeah, someone is there sitting next to them.
Exactly,
Someone is
exactly. The
feeling that.
ownership, the overall ownership with the delivery manager, no matter a developer is fixing, but the ownership is with you, right? So
Okay, okay, good. And now this is a little tricky one. So as a delivery manager, like what is your most difficult project or a team which you ever managed so far, and why? What's the reason?
It's a tough question indeed, Sunal. I think in being in BFSI domain, each project was challenging for me, no matter in which company I was in. But I always worked with bank. So lot of international bank, national banks. I have worked with cooperative banks, and zero matters, right? So you have to be extra careful as zero matters. And I think I cannot give any special example, but all projects were very, very challenging. But yes, if it's a startup, the team is new, if there are a lot of iteration, then probably to manage stakeholder is a bit challenging, because you
Yeah.
have to give that confidence to the stakeholder that no matter this key resource, though he has resigned, we have another strong pillar who can be the backup. So at times it was, yes, indeed challenging for a startup company back in 2000, probably I don't know, probably a few years back. But
It's always a key challenge. Even now
it's
also, it's
always a
always a
key
key challenge.
challenge. Yeah.
Okay. Any other challenge you want to share with us, like, and how the mitigation plan or the contingency plan you guys put into that? So what are the
See, usually the production issues, usually it doesn't come in that way, because we have lot of checkings, validations, review, and then UAT, and after that we move into production, right? And when we go into production, when we go live, there is a sanity test also. After that also, if it fails, yes, it is massive. I can't remember that happened ever. Couple of times, yes, but we had a rollback plan. So whole night probably the team works and we go back to the previous version. So the rollback plan is always there when we want to go for a upgraded version. But yes, as a production issue in that way, mm, there was nothing, not
okay,
much.
okay, okay, no problem. Yeah. So this is one of the scenario based question, I would say. So let's assume that one of your team is underperforming and you are getting your client escalation regularly. So what you will do as a DM? What are your initial steps, just to
Okay.
navigate your team? Yeah.
So it also a area which usually doesn't happen like that, Sunan, in the real life, because when we do a coding, when the team does a coding, it gets reviewed, first peer review, then QA review, then it goes for internal testing, unit testing, then it happens, system testing, then integration testing, then it goes to UAT. And we have, as you said, that we have metrics, right? So in every level we have metrics. Now I'll give you a small example for a project or for a CR, change request. Say for example, there are 10 components in a change request. So per component for X organization, we have a plan that per component more than 2 errors, system testing queries or system testing issues should not come. If there are more than system testing issues, then there is a flag. So every month when we check the metrics, we get to see which all CRs are going above the USL. And that is the trigger point for manager, for the team leads also. If we see that for a particular resource, every month 3 CRs is getting that hit, the system testing queries or defects are coming more than 2, that means that particular resource is having some problem, right? So that is the way we try to identify the resource. If a resource is underperforming or facing a challenge in a particular area, and also we see where all this resource has worked. Is it a particular area? Say for example, for a mortgage loan product, if it is a investment banking or it is a mortgage, if it is mortgage area, then probably we give that resource some training. If that doesn't work, we put the resource into the PIP. As you all know, there is a PIP concept, but I always feel that PIP is not to throw the resource out of the organization. And I always work very hard for any resource whom I put into PIP with an intention to get him back and as per my expectation into the team. So I always encourage people, whomever I select for PIP, I give them reason, justification, and if they agree that yes, they need development, then only I share the development plan. So mostly it doesn't reach to the client level, Sunan.
Yeah, and then I guess like there are a lot of other ways maybe to find the root cause. So for example, team is lacking some domain knowledge or expertise. So maybe some sort of trainings from
Yes,
SMEs and all those things to
yes.
navigate my team, to an extent maybe because my team is maybe new. They don't understand the domain that much.
It
Maybe it
is
might be
not
any,
only it is not
uh,
only always new. If the domain is vast
yeah,
and
sometimes
from
it
the
is struggling.
beginning the resource is working in one of the areas, say for only investment banking, but we have mortgage also, then probably when there is a lean period in the project, we can plan, okay, these are the resource, let's have a cross scale training. The resource who are having mortgage knowledge, let them understand investment banking. The people who have an investment, let them understand retail. So like that we can do a cross training also.
Okay. So, Sumita, I have one interesting question, and I think a lot of people want to understand this. Nowadays, we talk about agile way of working, Scrum teams and all. And as we all know that in Scrum, we have only Scrum masters, developers, and then a product owner, right? Three roles basically. So everyone is curious, like what happened to the project managers or
Delivery
the delivery
manager.
managers? Like where they fit in into this whole organization? So if you can just throw some light into this, it will be really great.
I'm in the same boat, Sunan. Okay, so yes, there is a challenge when I was working in a project which was running in a waterfall mode, but due to the organizational restructure, the all the projects has become agile, and yes, the team has been splitted into number of agile teams, squads as we called, and there are scrum masters identified. Then I do I also have this fear where I will be fit in. But yes, as I told you that I always have a healthy discussion with my manager. So I just went back to my manager and I asked where I will be. Shall I become one more Scrum Master? Then where will be my objectives and goal? Because my objectives and goal was something for the whole team. Now, if I become a Scrum Master, it will be probably from 8 to 9 people how it will be. But yes, there is a concept of scrum of scrums. So if there is a big project and there are 8 to 10 scrum teams, so if you keep all the scrum teams, there is a pyramid structure. There is a concept, as you know, if you study also in Google also, you will see there is a concept of scrum of scrum. So we are sitting there in scrum of scrums, where we keep an eye on the overall projects and in the overall planning. So our roles is becoming more challenging, Sunand, and it is not easy. It is much more challenging and it is much more probably focused, I will say, down the line.
So glad you let us know this because yeah, there are a lot of confusion
Yeah,
about this.
I don't think we need to worry about it. And we all should know that there are areas where the organization will, enable us to run our
Maybe
show the way
the
we
role
want.
more on a like a coaching or mentor kind of role,
Exactly,
basically,
exactly.
to mentor the team. This
Yeah.
could fit in. Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. So yeah, so this is the last one. So any advice for someone who want to become a delivery manager or they are stuck into the role of project managers? So any advice if you want to give them anything?
Okay. So one thing I would like to tell it to everybody that the moment you become the team lead, after that there are two ways. One is to go in an architectural role, or another one is to go in a management role. Now in the management role, again there are two ways. You can become a technical manager, you can become a functional manager. But no matter, you are at the end of the day manager, hence you have to manage people. So people management is one of the key role of a project manager or a delivery manager. And the more you understand people, the more you be with people, the more you listen to people, I think you will be gradually, slowly, steadily will become an excellent people manager along with your delivery management role, because you cannot escape saying that I can do the delivery management role, but I can't do the people management. Then it will be difficult. So I do not want to scare you people, but I just want to tell you that that area also you have to learn. And if you have that capability, your show is just on. You will just move on.
Okay, great. Good. So thanks so much, Sumita. I think this is a wonderful session. Lot of questions which I think you have answered very well, and I'm sure like a lot of people will learn from this experience of yours. And guys, this is our first session only. Next session we will have a technical project manager, technical delivery manager kind of session with Sumita, because she is also into that particular role. So maybe we'll invite her again one more time in this show.
My
And thanks.
pleasure.
Thanks so much, Sumita, for your time. Thanks one more time.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Bye.